Hello, so I'm going to talk about Foodbank Friend today. So this is an agent that I built recently, and this is sort of based on an idea that my wife has had actually, in that she does a lot of work for food banks, and she spends a lot of her time going to supermarkets and grocery stores, collecting food, preparing it, sorting out what can and can't be used, and then delivering that over to the food banks for them to either prepare meals for people or give out the food directly to them. And one of the issues that she finds is that a lot of people don't know where food banks are, how to contact them, what they need, and unless kind of people bring it to their attention, it's not that easy to know how to proceed. And one of the issues we find in the UK anyway is that food banks are almost separate entities that are not normally related or organised by a large organisation or charity. Um, so the information is a bit disparate and conflicting. And what we're trying to do here is sort of lower the barrier to entry, where you said, "I just want to help. I want to send some food to a food bank. Where are they? How do I use them? And what do they need?" So that's what Foodbank Friend is aiming to do. So before we go through it, I'm just going to quickly talk through the security and um, the sort of scalability of this. So from a scalability point of view, it's an agent inside a Copilot. So from a scalability point of view, I think as long as Copilot's available, there shouldn't really be any issues. We're not using any resources in say Azure or something like that where we're limited. There's limits on it, so I think this should scale quite well. From a security point of view, obviously it's secured with Enter ID. Someone has to sign in to use the Copilot agent, and the data doesn't leave the conversation. So I don't really think there's a security concern here either. From a AI perspective, there is AI being used. So we're using the generative AI in this case. I found that it does much better job of summarizing the data than anything that I could do myself. So effectively, I'm just taking a load of data from an API and turning on orchestration and letting the agent pass that data and put it into a format that the user can understand, and it's worked really, really well actually. So I'm just going to go through quickly now what the solution is and how it works. So I won't go through the instructions in line by line, but the idea is that we're helping people find a food bank, finding what the food banks need, and then if the user wishes to help, they can then have a shopping list given to them and a rough idea of how much things cost, just so they can kind of budget how much they're going to donate towards a food bank. So from a knowledge point of view, we're bringing through a couple of websites that support sort of in the UK help people volunteer at food banks, whether that's donating or running the food banks or helping with the food banks, collecting food, whatever it is. So if someone is interested in not just donating but actually volunteering, we surface that information in here as well. And then we have an action, which is a API to the Give Food API, which is a UK API for pulling through all the food bank information, what they need, their contact details, how far away they are from you, that sort of thing. That's what this Give Food API does. We have a few conversation starters here, but nothing crazy. So I've got a previous conversation I'm just going to show here quickly. So which food banks are nearby, postcode, it lists the food banks. So if we look here, we've got one in Sutton Coldfield. They need tinned meat, rice, etc. And then, would you like to create a shopping list? Yes. And then obviously it does a shopping list for each one. And then I asked it, well, can you just give me a top 10 of things that people need? Yep, sure. Here we go. And then, would you like this to be priced up? Yes. And obviously then we've got a pricing of the items. Now, I've got time, I think, just to quickly do a live demo. So I'm going to cross my fingers. Okay. What food banks are should ask me for a location. So I'm going to say, I'm just going to put first part of my postcode. I could put an address in there, or I could put a city, but in this case I'm just going to use a postcode. Okay, now it's gone through and it's brought through 5 food banks again, and then what it's done is summarise what is needed mostly within those food banks. Now, would I like a shopping list? Yes. What that does is it just gives me a nice handy, right, this is what I need to go to the shops and look for these food banks. Okay, it's summarised them into different categories of food and toiletries. Okay, now it's going to ask for an estimated price. Let's see if it can do that. Okay, cool. Now it's gone off and estimated how much things cost. In my experience, these prices aren't actually that far off. They're pretty good. So yeah, that's quite handy to do. So now I'm just going to quickly go over the solution. So we obviously have the agent itself. We've got the associated components. We've got a custom connector which goes to the API, and obviously the connector is just a standard connector. I won't really go into, but there is an open API spec that I had to build for this, because unfortunately the connector, the API doesn't have one itself, so sort of built that out, and yeah, it works quite nice. And then finally, I'm just going to quickly show you what we've done already in Copilot. So this is one I did a few minutes ago. It's the same agent. Can you find a food bank near me? Yes. Put in my postcode. It brings through some information. Brings me through a top 10. And then I've asked it for a price, shopping list with a price included. And then it's obviously gone through and listed everything. And in this case, it's actually added quantities so it's decided how much cereal and biscuits I need to buy. And then it's given me a handy price at the end to say, oh yeah, it will be £48 if you want to buy all that. And then finally, we have the volunteer. So this allows you to ask about volunteering a food bank. It pulls through that external information, and then from there you can obviously get involved and help as you need. And that's it. Thank you very much.